Hello.
Good afternoon, everyone. Hope everyone's doing well this afternoon.
Hi.
Let's see, Miss Bridgewater, are you with me?
Terrell Illy's here.
Courtroom 2, good afternoon.
Okay. Good afternoon, Your Honor.
I see that we have a Spanish interpreter on the line as well as another interpreter, Nasreen. So whenever you all, I guess, are available to have a breakout room for those cases.
We can probably go to courtroom 1 and
Okay,
do it that way so we won't interrupt what we got.
okay. So just let me know when you have that courtroom available. Let me go ahead and address everyone that's in courtroom 2 there. Good afternoon. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation Calendar that we're conducting by video. You have a right to remain silent. Anything you say can be used against you. You have a right to have an attorney present at these proceedings. We're providing you with the assistance of a public defender this afternoon if you choose to utilize their service. Good afternoon, Ms. Bridgewater.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. I'm having all kind of technical difficulties this morning, but I'm with you now.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure that you were there.
Yes. And while I have you, the reset date for the SAP calendar is May the 13th.
Thank you. And who do we have first in courtroom 2?
Your Honor, we don't have a calendar right now. We didn't print it out, so can I just go by last names and?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, we have last name Pedraza, Melissa Pedraza. Did I say that right?
No, my name. I'm Hernandez.
Oh, you're Hernandez. Okay, I'm sorry. We have Hernandez, Alejandro Hernandez.
Your Honor, that's position 12.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Ms. Hernandez.
Good afternoon.
You have been charged in case 25 CR 002193A with criminal trespass. Who do we have? Ms. Hardy, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. This defendant has 3 arrest cycles in Georgia. Their last arrest was July 13th, 2012, out of Fulton County for furnishing alcohol to purchase or possession by persons under legal age. There's a misdemeanor conviction in 2011 for driving without a license. Nothing further to report.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Ms. Malgiza.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. This incident is from April 27th, 2025. The location is 163 Roswell Commons Way. Your Honor, the victim and the defendant have been together for 18 years. They live together at the location. Officers spoke with the victim, Jose Mondrogan, who stated that him and the defendant have been having marital issues. I'm sorry, this is not one of the interpreter cases, right? Where I have
It is not. Good morning, Judge. How are you?
Mr.
Perfect.
Bartels.
Yes, good to see you, Your Honor. I spoke with
Thank you.
Ms.
I'm sorry,
Hernandez.
I'm not done yet.
I was going to say we don't need an interpreter. That's all I was going to.
Absolutely, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Thank you. I'm sorry about that.
No worries.
Officer spoke with the victim, who stated that on the day of the incident, they were both at a party, and the defendant became angry when they arrived home. The victim tried to go to a room to separate from the situation, but this made the defendant more upset. She threw her phone at his gaming monitor, which cracked the screen and damaged the exterior of his PlayStation 5. Your Honor, we spoke with the victim today. He said they live together. They've been together for a long time. They share 4 children. The victim did confirm the events in the warrant. He stated that nothing like this has ever happened before. He's not in fear of the defendant and wants to continue contact, and he wants the defendant to go back to the residence. If we can sound for the victim whenever appropriate, Your Honor, the state's recommendation is a signature bond through pretrial, no further violent contact with the victim, Jose Mondrogan, 1 day anger awareness, no alcohol, drugs, or weapons while out on bond. That is all for the state.
Mr. Mondragon is on the line and wishes to address the court. Now is your opportunity. I need for you to unmute yourself, activate your camera, and I'll have to swear you in. Does not appear so. Mr. Bartels?
Yes, thank you, Your Honor. I did speak with Mr. Mondragon as well. He did tell me the same as what he told the state. We would just concur with the recommendation for a signature bond, and that's it.
It will be a $2,000 signature bond through the jail. No further violent contact with Mr. Mondragon. No drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Ms. Hernandez.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome.
Next, we have position number 24, Ms. Pedraza.
That would be a translator case, Your Honor. We would need a breakout room.
Oh, this is, okay. Well, we can do. Yeah, but you need to interpret it, yeah. So we'll come back to her once we get our courtroom 1 set up with the translator.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, you can get up. We'll do you later. Next we'll go with Mr. Abrifo Safaro. First name Michael.
Can someone tell me what position that is?
Position 1, Judge.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Yes, good afternoon, Mr. Abrifa Safaro. You have been charged in case 25 CR 0022088A with possession of marijuana less than an ounce, unlawful to possess, display, or use any false, fraudulent, altered identification document. 2 counts of that, possession of false identification documents, 2 counts. Is there a history, Ms. Hardy?
Yes, Your Honor. The last arrest was April 29th, 2022 out of Brookhaven for identity theft. They have a total of 2 arrest cycles, nothing further.
Yes, good afternoon, Mr. Sirocco.
Thank you, Judge. I should add it might have bled onto the next page, a loiter prowl charge as well. Should be count 6 there. So this incident took place April 27th, 2025, at 6350 Peachtree Dunwoody Road in Sandy Springs. It's the Costco located there. Law enforcement observed 2 vehicles entering a parking lot after hours when the businesses were all closed. This was a little bit before around midnight. Officer found this suspicious and followed the vehicles to the cargo loading area of the Costco on the other side of the building. Upon approaching the vehicles, the officer detected odor of marijuana coming from one of them, which was found to have been occupied by the defendant. When questioned, the defendant admitted to smoking marijuana and handed the officer a plastic baggie containing marijuana and a blunt that he had been actively smoking. During a PC search of the vehicle, the officer discovered multiple fraudulent identification documents with the defendant's photo on them. The fraudulent IDs included a Georgia ID belonging to Janice Thompson, a North Carolina ID belonging to Edward Leonard Wilkinson, and 2 Florida driver's license with fictitious identities, Carrie Roberts and Joseph Nixon. When asked, why they were in the lot, defendants stated they were there to talk despite staying at a hotel located across the street. He was taken into custody at that time. That case mentioned by pretrial, I do see that was not presented to the grand jury. That was from 2022. but it is an ID theft fraud case there, which is similar to ours here. As such, the state's recommendation, due to the potential risk of reoffense here, is a split bond with the signature bonds for the possession of marijuana and loiter prowl charges, and $250 surety for each possession of false fictitious ID charges, for a total of $1,000 surety plus the split bond. For him to stay away from the Costco located at 6350 Peachtree Dunwoody Road in Sandy Springs, and no drugs, weapons, or alcohol while out on bond. That is it for the state.
Mr. Chataya, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Judge Morrow. Thank you. After speaking with my client, he requests a signature bond for his case. My client's 24 years old. He has strong ties to the community. His whole family lives in the Atlanta area, and he's lived in Atlanta for the past 13 years. He got a GED. He has 1 year left in college. And for the past year, he's been working as a warehouse associate. He moves boxes and packages and prepares items for shipping and so forth. And finally, Your Honor, given his very limited arrest record, as well as the fact that in the public safety assessment report, he doesn't have convictions nor FTAs, I ask this court to consider the signature bond.
All right, for each charge will be a $500 signature bond through pretrial level 1, makes for a total of a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1. Stay away from the Costco on Peachtree Dunwoody Road. No drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, sir.
I'm sorry, Your Honor, how many charges did he have?
Apparently, he has a lording and prowling charge. It's not on my calendar, so it may not be on your calendar there.
Right, okay, I'll just put it in.
Okay.
Yep, all right. You're good. You're good. Good. So next we got position number 5, Mr. Exley. Did I say that right?
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, Mr. Exley. You have been charged in case 25 CR 0021883C with criminal trespass and damage to property. Is there a history, Ms. Hardy?
Yes, Your Honor. There's a multiple state interaction. We have 1 arrest cycle out of Kentucky, 2 out of Arizona, 19 out of Colorado, 2 out of Minnesota, 1 out of North Carolina. Their last arrest was May the 5th, 2023 out of Boulder, Colorado for burglary, aggravated assault, disorderly conduct, trespassing. There's a felony conviction, 2021 vehicle theft, 2022 aggravated assault of a peace officer, misdemeanor conviction, 2023 obstruction, 2021 assault and theft. Nothing further to, I'm sorry, appears to be a hold for fraud out of Gove, Kansas. The date of that warrant is January 25th, 2018. Nothing further.
Thank you. Ms. Melgizo?
Yes, Your Honor. This incident is from yesterday, April 27th, 2025. The location is 300 West Spalding Drive, Sandy Springs. Officers spoke with the victims, Mr. Timothy Exley and Ms. Barbara Exley. They are the defendant's parents, who stated that their son, the defendant, came to the location without permission and entered the garage. The defendant punched the glass to the door that leads from the garage into the home. In that process, he cut his arm on the broken glass as he reached inside to unlock the door and make entry into the home. Your Honor, the victim stated that the cost of the damage to the door is around $500. This defendant had a violation for a family order in 2016 against his father. It ended up being null prost, but we did speak with the victim, with the mother of the defendant. She stated that the defendant no longer lives in the incident location, that he has some issues. He refuses to take medication. They have been dealing with this since 2002. They have called the police several times on the defendant. They also took out a TPO against him in 2017 in DeKalb County. She stated that she needs, some help, and they don't want any contact with the defendant. They want him to stay away from the residence. Your Honor, the state's recommendation is a $2,000 surety bond, a social service visit to determine what services he may need. Stay away from 300 West Spalding Drive, Sandy Springs. No further contact with Timothy and Barbara Exley. No alcohol, drugs, or weapons while on bond. If we can please sound for the victims in case they're present and wish to be heard.
If either Mr. Timothy or Ms. Barbara Exley is on the line and wishes to address the court, now is your opportunity. It's not appear so. Mr. Chataya?
Thank you, Your Honor. My client would like to ask for the lowest surety amount that is reasonable for his case. He's 43 years old. He was born in Atlanta, but he's been back for the last 2 years. And for the past 2 years as well, he's been working at 2 different places 6 days a week. One is for a transportation and logistics company, and the other one is for the state of Georgia, doing emissions testing for cars. He also tells me he has an associate's degree in childhood education and business. We wouldn't object to the no further contact or stay away orders. I can have a social worker visit him as well if that's necessary, but otherwise he would ask for the lowest surety amount that's reasonable.
It will be $1,000 good bond, no further contact with Mr. and Ms. Exley, stay away from the incident location, social worker visit to assess for BHET, no drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. Exley.
Thank you. Next, we'll go with position number 9, Mr. Glass.
Can we do the breakout session in courtroom 1, please?
Okay, who do we have there?
Your name? What's your name? Sabayo Luriez. And your name? Alexis Asir. Aluma. Okay, Aluma.
Okay, so who do you want first? I think that's easier for me if you tell me, if you bring somebody to the chair first so I can match the attorney with them.
Come on. I'll let you know in a minute. What's your name? Esbado.
Okay, and who represents this young man?
Your Honor, I think it's Mr. Osvaldo Rios. ¿Es usted Osvaldo Rios?
Sí, señorita.
Yes, it's Osvaldo Rios, and I am here to assist you, Your Honor.
Yeah, that would be my case, Your Honor. Good morning, Ms. Chancey.
All right, so we'll place, and let me just go ahead, Ms. Chancey, and put you under oath. Do you swear or affirm that you will translate from Spanish to English and English to Spanish to the best of your ability?
Yes, sir, I do.
Okay, very good. Thank you. So if we can place courtroom 1, Mr. Bartels and Ms. Chancey into the breakout room, please.
Yes, Judge.
Thank you, Ms. Grace. Okay, and then once we complete this one, we'll go to the next one in courtroom 1. Who do we have in courtroom 2?
We have position number 9, Mr. Glass.
Okay, thank you. Good afternoon, Mr. Glass. You have been charged in case 25 CR 002190G with 2 counts of battery family violence and simple battery family violence. Who's representing Mr. Glass this afternoon?
I do, Your Honor. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Is there a history, Ms. Hardy?
Yes, Your Honor. The last arrest was December 28th, 2012, out of Cherokee County, North Carolina, for assault on a female. That's the only arrest cycle. Nothing further to report.
Thank you. Ms. Melgiza?
Yes, Your Honor. This incident is from April 27th, 2025. The location is 2976 Falling Water Place, South Fulton. Officers spoke with Ms. Christina Rayford, who stated that her and her boyfriend, the defendant, lived together. That on the day of the incident, they were driving back from Alabama and were in a verbal altercation the entire time. According to the victim, when they arrived home, the defendant began drinking excessively, so she went upstairs to avoid anything physical. She waited a few hours and then went downstairs. That's when the defendant approached her, got in her face. He then punched her on the left side of the face. He put both of his hands around her neck. The victim did have red marks on her throat and on the left side of her face. She also had a broken nail and a torn shirt. The victim stated that she broke her nail while she was attempting to get the defendant's hands off her throat. We did get a chance to speak with the victim today. She confirmed the events in the warrant. They share no children. She stated that the defendant grabbed her by the neck with both hands and pushed her against the wall, that he applied pressure to her neck, and the rate the defendant's grip was at a 7. She stated that he had his hands around her neck for about a minute. She stated that the defendant has been violent with her in the past, but not to this extent. She wants no contact with the defendant, and she does not want him to return to the residence. Your Honor, the state's recommendation is a $1,500 surety bond, 1-day anger awareness, no further contact with Christina Rayford, stay away from 2976 Falling Water in South Fulton, one-time police escort to retrieve his belongings, no alcohol, drugs, or weapons while on bond. And if we can please sound for the victim, Miss Christina Rayford, in case she wishes to be heard. That is all for the state.
Thank you. Ms. Rayford, I see you there. If you would like to address the court, now is your opportunity to do so. I'll need for you to raise your right hand for me, please, ma'am. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give before this court will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Okay, you can place your hand down. Thank you, Ms. Rayford. What would you like to tell the court?
Thank you. I wanted to make sure that I'm sorry. Michael is a super caring person, kind and hardworking. But I know just in the time that we've been together, there's a lot of unhealed childhood trauma there. And it comes out the worst when he's drinking. And I have to candidly say that I know that this stems from him witnessing the same in his own childhood. I know that he's unhappy with where he is, and not having employment and access to healthcare is impacting him tremendously, because I know that he knows and acknowledges that he needs help, but doesn't know how to go about getting it. And while I think we've reached a point where there's no return, he's a good person, and I just want him to get the help that he needs.
Thank you, Ms. Rayford. I appreciate you being here this afternoon, ma'am.
Thank you.
Mr. McLean?
Thank you, Honor. Mr. Glass was born here, but he went to high school in North Carolina. He went to college in San Francisco, studied art. He does catering, and in the past he's done the warehouse work, but currently he does catering work to the extent that he can. Unemployment is a problem sometimes, and so he's struggling somewhat financially, I believe. Your Honor, he would ask the court to, especially concerning his prior arrest record, we would ask the court to consider a signature bond.
Okay, for each battery charge will be a $2,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1. With a simple battery, a $1,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1 makes for a total of a $5,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1. 3 days of anger awareness, no further contact with Ms. Rayford, stay away from the Fall Water Place address. He can go back to that address on one occasion with law enforcement to retrieve any belongings. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. Glass. You as well, Mr. Rayford.
Thank you.
We can go to AC/DC.
Okay,
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Before you is Ms. Clark, position number 3.
okay. Officer Milton, good afternoon. Let me go ahead and address all the young ladies that are there. I'm Judge Eric Morrow. This is the State Court Expedited Accusation Calendar that we're conducting by video. You have a right to remain silent. Anything you say can be used against you. You have a right to have an attorney present these proceedings. We're providing you with the assistance of a public defender this afternoon if you choose to utilize their service. Ms. Clark, you have been charged in case 25 CR 002211E with false report of a crime. Is there a history, Ms. Hardy?
Yes, Your Honor. The last arrest was July the 16th, 2019, for a vice charge, and they have a total of 3 arrest cycles. Nothing further to report.
Mr. Sirocco?
Thank you, Judge. This incident took place yesterday at 1033 Hollywood Road in Atlanta. Law enforcement responded to a fight in progress call at the location, and upon arrival met with the defendant, who claimed that she was at her ex-girlfriend Sherelle Tucker's apartment to retrieve her belongings. She had told 911 that Sherelle had pulled a firearm on her in the past and was refusing to return her belongings. During that investigation, Sherelle Tucker stated she didn't know the defendant and that her boyfriend, D'Anthony Williams, had sent the defendant to get his belongings. He had called Sherelle while the officer was present and asked for his belongings to be given to the defendant. When questioned further, the defendant claimed she and Sherelle had lived together for 8 days, wanted police help retrieving her belongings because Sherelle had previously pulled a gun on her. When advised that making a false report to law enforcement is a crime, the defendant continued with her false statements, and after she was detained, she admitted that she'd made a false report of a crime because D'Anthony had told her to lie to the police so that he could get his belongings. It admitted that she did not know Sherelle and that she had never pointed a gun at her. She was then arrested. The state's recommendation here is a signature bond through pretrial services. No further contact with Sherelle Tucker and stay away from the incident location, 1033 Hollywood Road in Atlanta. No drugs, weapons, or alcohol while out on bond. That is all.
Ms. Sherelle Tucker's on the line and wishes to address the court. Now is your opportunity. Retire.
No objection to the state's recommendation, Your Honor.
As such, it will be a $2,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1. No further contact with Ms. Tucker. Stay away from the Hollywood Road address. No drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Good luck, Ms. Clark.
All right, next we'll go to position number 16, Mr. Jules.
Good afternoon, Mr. Jules. You've been charged in case 25 CR 002198G with criminal trespass. Is there a history? Ms. Hardy?
Yes, Your Honor. The last arrest was November 8th, 2024 out of Fulton County for a probation violation. They have a total of 54 arrest cycles with arrests out of Georgia and Florida. There's a 2021 burglary, 2018 battery on elderly, felony conviction, 2015 possession of controlled substance, misdemeanor conviction in 2020 for petty theft, and trespassing, 2019 trespassing and obstruction. It appears that they're on probation for criminal trespass, and that open case number is 24 CR 006172G. And there's also 2 open cases, one for terroristic threats and acts. That case number is 24 PI 002638, and an open case for criminal damage to property, 24 SC 004154. Nothing further.
Who's representing Mr. Jones?
I do, Your Honor.
Okay, no, I just wanted to make sure you were here, Mr. McLean.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you. Ms. Dunlap?
Thank you, Your Honor. This incident date happened yesterday at 1545 Mansell Road in Alpharetta. Officers were called to a trespassing call. This is a racetrack gas station. The employee called 911 because the defendant was trying to fight another employee who's a store clerk. He stated the defendant continues to violate the trespass order issued to him. He was previously issued a trespass order in March of 2025. The state is looking for a $2,000 signature bond through pretrial. Stay away from 1545 Mansell Road in Alpharetta. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond.
Mr. McLean?
No objection, Your Honor. Thank you.
Okay, it will be a $2,000 signature bond through pretrial level 2. Does he have an issue with housing, Mr. McLean? Does he need some help with that?
Let's see. Your Honor, I've got his parents' phone number. He's living with his sister, I believe. I don't think there's a housing issue. It doesn't sound like.
Okay. Stay away from the racetrack on Mansell Road. No drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. Jules.
Next, we have petition number 6, Fahrenheit.
Good afternoon, Ms. Fahrenheit. You have been charged in case 25 CR 0021884B with battery family violence. Is there a history, Ms. Hardy?
No, Your Honor, no history to report at this time.
Ms. Malgizo?
Yes, Your Honor. This incident is from April 26, 2025. The location is 445 Cleveland Avenue Southeast, apartment number R170 in Fulton County. Officers spoke with the victim, Mr. Luke Moran, who stated that the defendant sent him a text stating that they needed to talk. Upon the defendant's arrival, the defendant and the victim got into a verbal dispute. The victim went into his bedroom and the defendant followed him. The victim asked the defendant several times to get out of his room, but the defendant refused to leave. The defendant started throwing things inside the room, and the victim tried to leave the room, but the defendant did not let him and instead pinned him in a corner. According to the victim, at this point, the defendant punched the victim in the face. The victim had injuries on his forehead, near his eyes, and also scratches on his arms. We did speak with the victim today. The victim stated that they're not longer in a relationship, but they do live together at the incident location. The victim confirmed the events in the warrant. The victim stated that he sustained a chipped tooth and a huge welt on his forehead. They also stated that the defendant has come into his room in the past and kicked in the door. But this is actually the first time that the defendant has been violent towards him. The victim stated that he was going to get a TPO today. He wants no contact with the defendant and wants the defendant to stay away from the residence. Your Honor, the state's recommendation is a signature bond through pretrial, 1-day anger awareness, no further contact with Luke Moran. Stay away from 445 Cleveland Avenue Southeast, apartment number R170. A one-time police escort to retrieve the belongings. No alcohol, drugs, or weapons while out on bond. And if we can please sound for the victim at this time, Luke Moran, in case they wish to be heard.
If Mr. Moran is on the line and wishes to address the court, now is your opportunity. Mr. Chataya?
No objection to the state's recommendations, Judge, but since Ms. Fahrenheit does live at that address, I'd like to ask the court to consider no further violent contact instead of no further contact, if that's possible.
Okay, given that he's seeking a TPO and he's not here, I'm not
I
going
am here,
to.
Your Honor. I'm sorry. I just got out of court for the TPO myself. I'm sorry to interrupt.
Okay, thank you, sir. If you'll come on camera for me.
Sure. Let me find a spot to sit down. Okay. Hey there. You can see I'm right
Okay.
outside the courthouse.
Yes, sir. If you raise your right hand for me. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give before this court be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do, Your Honor.
Okay, you can place your hand down. What would you like to tell the court?
This behavior has been an escalating pattern of behavior for a while. I am not the first person to try and raise awareness of this kind of behavior from Oliver. But I can't ever see him again. I just can't. I'm terrified on the way home from work, you know, at the thought of just seeing him. I'm terrified. And it's really not even the physical stuff that hurts the most. It's the just getting in my face and yelling at me and making me feel trapped and begging me for money just constantly all day long. And this is the first time that I feel like I've ever stood up to him and actually said no. And you know, he not only hurt me, but he threw a tombstone at me. Yeah, I just don't feel safe around him. I haven't felt safe around him for a long time. My friends now feel unsafe because my friends also live in the apartment complex that we live in. So they're scared. You know, they're scared for their daughter. Yeah, I just and also going on Facebook and Instagram and talking about how much I abuse him. You know, I mean, this all started because he tried to beat me up and then called the police and told them that I beat him up. Correct? I mean, that's how I understand it at the time being.
Okay, I understand. Thank you, Mr. Moran. I appreciate you being here this afternoon.
Yeah, thank you for letting me speak. Thank you.
You're welcome, sir. As such, it will be a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1 day anger awareness, no further contact with Luke Moran, stay away from the Cleveland Avenue address. He can go back to that address with law enforcement on one occasion to retrieve any belongings, no drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you both. Who do we have
Thank you.
next?
You're welcome. One,
Say it again.
we can go to courtroom 1.
Okay. And let's see.
This is
Tell me who we.
Ms.
Okay, this is so we need to Miss whose client is this? And tell me who this is.
This Mr. McLean client, and this is Ortiz. Pronounce your last name again.
Okay, have you spoken with him, Mr. McLean?
Your Honor, no, we have not. We definitely need to translate it for him.
Okay, so we're ready for you. So we'll place you into a breakout room with courtroom 1 and Miss Chansey.
Now, what I had for name was Orduna. Okay.
Ordóñez.
Ordoña.
Oh, Alexis Ordóñez.
Yeah, that's Mr.
Position
Orduna.
23.
Okay. Ready for the breakout.
All right, so where to now?
We go to courtroom 2. This is position number 33, Mr. Wilson.
Good afternoon, Mr. Wilson. You've been charged in case 25 CR 002215C with driving while your license was suspended or revoked and failure to maintain or lane or improper lane change. Is there a history? Ms. Hardy?
Yes, Your Honor, there's 56 arrest cycles, felony conviction in 2024, theft by taking, 2024 entering auto, 2018 theft by receiving, misdemeanor 2018, there's a PI charge and theft by taking. Also in 2018, driving while license suspended or revoked. One moment, I don't have their last arrest. One moment. Double check. And their last arrest was April the 17th, 2024, out of Fulton County for theft by taking, fleeing, and attempting to elude. There's an open case for theft by receiving stolen property. That case number is 24 PI 001554. There's 2 probation cases. One is for theft by taking and driving while license suspended or revoked. That number is 24 SC 002855. And then theft by shoplifting and entering auto. That case number is 19 SC 168533. Nothing further.
Thank you. Afternoon, Ms. Allen.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Happy Monday. This is an incident from March the 2nd of 2024. The defendant has been incarcerated, and so he hasn't had these warrants served on him. These are traffic violations. It's alleged that at 129 North Avenue Northeast on March the 2nd, he was driving a Hyundai Elantra. He had no current driver's license. It had been suspended. He was stopped by Officer Jean Baptiste of the APD Police Department after he was observed failing to maintain lane there at 129 North Avenue. We're asking for $1,000 surety, Your Honor, no driving without the proper documentation, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons. Thank you.
Mr. Bartels?
Yes, thank you, Your Honor. I have spoken with Mr. Wilson. The only discovery I have is just the copies of the 2 citations. And Ms. Allen is correct. It does appear they were written on March 2nd of last year. My client advises me he just got out of state custody pursuant to one of the other cases that Ms. Hardy mentioned, but it doesn't appear that there's a warrant on either of these charges. And unless there's a witness who can testify with personal knowledge or make out probable cause, we would just ask for a signature bond on both charges.
Okay. Given that there are traffic charges, it will be a $500 signature bond through the jail on each charge, makes for a total of $1,000 signature bond through the jail. No driving without a valid license, no drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Mr. Wilson.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Next is position 31, Ms. Webb.
Good afternoon, Ms. Webb. You have been charged in case 25 CR 002202B. Excuse me, with 2 counts of simple battery, family violence, and cruelty to children in the 3rd degree. Is there a history, Ms. Hardy?
The last arrest was April 6, 2024, out of Dunwoody for probation violation. They have a total of 6 adult cycles out of Georgia. Misdemeanor conviction in 2023 for theft by shoplifting. 2022 criminal trespass and disorderly conduct. 2020 criminal trespass. Nothing further to report.
Thank you. Ms. Allen?
Thank you, Your Honor. One moment. This is an incident from the 27th. So yesterday, the 27th of April, 2025, police were called to 1306 Graymont Drive, Southwest, where they met with the victim, Terrell Ellie. I believe he's joined us on the Zoom. This is about 1 in the afternoon, 1:30 in the afternoon. He reported that he allowed the mother of the child that they share, the defendant, to stay at the residence. She said she had nowhere to go. Ultimately, when he asked her to leave, she became upset and punched him in his face. He reports she also shoved him. There are 2 simple battery charges, Your Honor, as well as a cruelty in the 3rd degree. This was done in the presence of their 2-year-old, whose initials are R.E. The defendant and the victim share a history. He has a battery family violence conviction for an incident against her in 2022. I believe they'd been ordered to have no contact. The defendant does have multiple arrests. It looks like starting in 2018 that a good chunk of them include or are for violent behavior. We're asking for a $2,000 surety, Your Honor, to stay away from the location there at 1306 Graymont Drive Southwest, have no contact with the victim, Terrell, Terrell, last name Leeley, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons. We would also ask for a social worker visit.
Thank you. Mr. Ellie, I see you on the line. If you wish to address the court, now is your opportunity to do so. I would need for you to activate your camera and mute yourself for me. Raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give before this court be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you can place your hand down. What would you like to tell the court?
It's just been an ongoing situation for the last few years. It should just be over with. I have a no contact on my end. I'm on probation currently for the same exact thing. I just want this to end and just so I can move on with my life. I'm in a whole nother relationship. I'm working a good job. I'm going back to school. I just want her to move on with her life so I can move on with my life. So both of us can stop ending up incarcerated and our child won't get taken by the state. I just want it to be over with.
All right. Thank you for being here this afternoon, sir.
All right.
Ms. McLeod, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. I would be asking for a signature bond for my client. She's currently unemployed. I don't believe she has any kind of conviction concerning any family violence or battery. I think I did hear a disorderly conduct, Your Honor. So I would ask for a signature bond for her.
Okay, for each of the simple batteries, it will be a $2,000 signature bond through pretrial level 2. For the cruelty, a $1,000 signature bond through pretrial level 2. Makes for a total of a $5,000 signature bond through pretrial level 2. 1 parenting class, 1 anger awareness class. Stay away from Mr. Terrell Ely. No further contact with him. Stay away from the Graymont Drive address. Third-party transfer of the minor child for visitation. No drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Ms. Webb.
Next, we'll go position number 15, Mr. Jones.
Good afternoon, Mr. Jones. You have been charged in case 25 CR 002199A with battery family violence, 2 counts of cruelty to children in the 3rd degree, and criminal trespass. Is there a history, Ms. Hardy?
Excuse me. There's a total of 6 arrests out of Georgia and Tennessee. There's a 2019 identity theft felony conviction out of Tennessee. In Georgia, there's a 2014 financial transaction card fraud felony conviction where they received first offender and it was sealed in 2017. Looks like they're currently on probation for criminal damage to property and possession of a firearm by a convicted felon. That case number is 23 SC 187996. Nothing further.
Who's presenting for the state?
What position was this? I'm sorry.
This is position 15.
That would
And
be.
while I'm doing, and Ms. McLeod, is this also your case? Okay, just wanted to make sure. Thank you. Yes, Ms. Dunlap.
It's Mr. Jones. This incident date happened yesterday. Looks like address is 137 Valley Brook Drive in Fairburn. Officers arrived regarding dispute between a husband and wife. They first met with the defendant and his mother, who initially told officers there was only a verbal dispute. Upon speaking to the victim in this case, a Miss Kerrica Jones, that's Kearica, she stated that her and then there were minors, I think this is their child, initials K.J, and her niece, also a minor, initials K.O. He put his hands on Miss Jones. The minor K.J attempted to get the defendant off Miss Jones. Defendant pushed her. He ended up slinging items all over the minor's KJ's bedroom. Miss Jones had red swollen marks on her ankle. The minor's bedroom door where this incident occurred was removed from the frame, to which Miss Jones told the defendant had broken the door down. The minor KJ was so scared during the altercation, she went to retrieve Miss Jones's firearm and handed it to Miss Jones. Miss Jones also told the police that the defendant choked her. She could not breathe. There was red marks on her neck that officers took pictures of as well. Our office had a brief chance to speak to the victim. She stated they're married. They live together at the incident location. They share one child. She confirmed the events in the warrant. We did attempt to ask about the choking incident, but she said she had to go and would have to call back. The state is looking for a $5,000 surety bond in this case. A stay away from 137 Valley Brook Drive in Fairburn. No further contact with Miss Jones. No further contact with minor KJ, minor K.O. 2-day anger awareness. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond. And if we can sound for the victim in accordance with Marcy's law when appropriate. Thank you.
Ms. Jones is on the line and wishes to address the court. Now is your opportunity to do so. Doesn't appear so. Ms. McLeod? You're on mute there, Ms. McLeod.
Yes, Your Honor, I would ask for a signature bond for my client. I did not hear any history of violence at all.
I believe there was a simple assault arrest in 2021.
Okay, nothing further. For the battery, it'll be $1,000 good bond. For each of the cruelty to children, will be a $250 good bond. For the criminal trespass, a $500 good bond. Makes for a total of a $2,000 good bond. No further contact with Ms. Jones or the minor children. Stay away from the Valley Brook Drive address. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons while out on bond.
Thank
Good
you,
luck.
Your Honor.
You're welcome. Good luck to you, Mr. Jones.
Next, Your Honor, is position 22, Ms. Monofray.
And who's representing Ms. Monfred?
That is my case. That's my case, Your Honor. I apologize.
Okay, no, I just wanted to make sure that her representative was here. Good afternoon, Ms. Monfred. You have been charged in case 25 CR 0021992Y with 2 counts of simple battery, family violence, and cruelty to children in the 3rd degree. Is there a history, Ms. Hardy?
No, Your Honor, this is the first arrest.
Ms. Dunlap?
This incident date happened on April 26, 2025 at 5140 Briarstone Ridgeway in Roswell. Defendant slapped the victim, Mr. Marvin Christian, in the face and punched him in the stomach after accusing him of infidelity. This incident happened in front of their 7-year-old, initials V.C. Our officer had a chance to speak to the victim. He stated they are married. They live together at the incident location. They share one child. Confirmed the events in the warrant. He said he is tired of the violence. When I asked the defendant, has this ever happened before? He said he'd rather not speak on that. He said he's not in fear of the defendant and wanted her to return to the residence and will be on Zoom. The state is looking for a $3,000 surety bond in this case. No further contact with Marvin Christian. A stay away from 5140 Briarstone Ridgeway. Family Violence Intervention Program. No drugs, alcohol, weapons while on bond. If we can sound for Mr. Christian in accordance with Marcy's law when appropriate. Thank you.
If Mr. Christian is on the line and wishes to address the court, now is your opportunity. I see you there, sir. If you can raise your right hand for me, please. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give before this court will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I agree. Yes.
Okay, you can place your hand down. Thank you. What would you like to tell the court?
Faz is an awesome person, loving person from a good family, kind, loving. She's the heart and soul of our family. This is beyond her. I know she's angry, and I know she's accused me of things. I think and I'm probably going too much in detail with this, but in the industry and profession I'm in, I have to talk to women. She doesn't want me to talk to women. She thinks I'm being not trustworthy, but I am. I'm hoping she's home today. My 7-year-old, she's been quote unquote paralyzed, not knowing where mom is, not having her here. I want her here. I want her here. That's the most important thing. When I think the option was to keep her away or have limited contact, we want her here in the home. She's the cornerstone of our family. I love her. She's my wife. I could ramble and go on all day and all night about this, but she's really important to me and the family. So I want her here. If there's any specific questions you have, I'm happy to answer it, but I pray and hope that you can get her home today. I'm ready to go pick her up and bring her home.
I did have a question, Your Honor.
Yes, Mr. Allard.
Has there been previous incidents of violence? Our victim advocate did ask you about that, and you stated that you'd rather not speak on it. Has there been previous incidents of violence?
No, what she does, she communicates verbally. Like she's passionate. So it's not a physical, it's more arguments. We try to wait until our daughter is asleep to make sure that we communicate as adults should. So there's no, any fighting or anything going on like that. First of all, I'd never touch her, and I don't expect her to touch me. I think it's a lesson she's learned, and I know she's going to be better for it. We're going to be better for it together. And I'll say this also. If for some reason, she comes home and we can't figure this out, I'm still going to wish the best for her and love her, but I'm hoping to be with her forever. So the arguments are normally verbal, put it that way.
Thank you for being here this afternoon, Mr.
Thank
Christian.
you.
You're welcome. Mr. Bartels?
Yes, thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Monferred, she's 49 years old. From the information available to me, she doesn't have a criminal history to speak of. I'm told that she's lived in Georgia approximately 20 years, and she owns a salon. So she runs her own business. And based on all of that, based on what Mr. Christian has said, we would ask for a signature bond, Your Honor, and we would ask for a no further violent contact order. We would not be opposed to an anger awareness class as a condition of bond, but we would be opposed to the FVIP program simply based on one arrest. And that's it.
Thank you. For each of the simple battery charges will be a $2,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1. For the cruelty charge, a $1,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1 makes for a total of a $5,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1. 3 days of anger awareness, no further violent contact with Mr. Christian, no drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you both.
Right. Thank you, Your Honor.
Next, we'll go position number 24, Ms. Pedraza.
Let's see, that's one where we did need the translator ahead of court.
Okay, all right. Good afternoon, Ms. Pedraza. You have been charged in case 25 CR 002200C with simple battery family violence.
Buenas tardes. En su caso 25 CR 002200C tiene I'm sorry, can you repeat the charge, Your Honor? Please.
Yes, simple battery family violence and cruelty to children in the 3rd degree.
Es por golpes y lesiones simples, crueldad ante un menor.
Your history, Ms. Hardy?
Hay antecedentes, señora Hardy.
The last arrest was November 17th, 2025.
El último arresto fue el 17 de noviembre del um,
I'm sorry, 2015.
2015. I'm sorry, can you repeat the date, please?
The last arrest was November 17th, 2015.
El último arresto fue el 17 de noviembre del 2015.
Out of DeKalb for CWEC charge and battery.
Eso ocurrió en el condado de DeKalb por golpes y lesiones.
Nothing further to report. That is the only arrest cycle. Nothing further to report.
Es el único ciclo de arresto y no hay más nada.
Stella,
This incident date happened yesterday at 2572 Lenox Road.
Este incidente ocurrió ayer en el 2572 de Lenox Road.
Officers responded to a dispute and they met with the defendant who stated she was in a fight with her boyfriend and father of 5 children.
Los oficiales respondieron a una disputa y cuando se reunieron con la acusada, declaró que habían tenido una pelea con el novio y padre de sus hijos.
The victim in this case is a Mr. Jorge Cortez.
La víctima en este caso es el señor Jorge Cortés.
They were arguing about cleaning the house when he grabbed her right arm and pushed her.
Estaban discutiendo sobre limpiar la casa cuando él la tomó de el brazo derecho y la empujó.
And then grabbed her phone and threw it to the ground.
Y le arrancó el teléfono y lo tiró al piso.
The victim states that the defendant first broke his TV and router for the internet.
La víctima dijo que la acusada primero rompió la televisión y el router de la internet.
That's when he picked up her cell phone and threw it.
Y fue cuando recogió el teléfono y lo tiró.
He picked up their youngest child, which is a baby, from the sofa, to which defendant picked up her cell phone and threw it at him, hitting him in the back.
Él levantó a el niño o niña menor, que es un bebé, del sofá, en donde fue cuando la acusada le arrojó el teléfono celular, golpeándolo en la espalda.
Their 6-year-old spoke with officers and told officers that she saw the defendant throw the phone at her dad.
Hay un menor de 6 años que habló con los oficiales diciendo que ella vio a la acusada tirar el teléfono al papá.
Although defendant only has 1 arrest cycle, it's for the exact same thing that we would be presenting here today.
Aunque la acusada solamente tiene un ciclo de arresto anterior, es por el mismo motivo que está presente hoy aquí.
As such, the state is looking for a $2,000 signature bond through pretrial.
Por esto se solicita $2,000 de fianza bajo firma a través de los servicios previos al juicio.
We haven't been able to contact Mr. Cortez, so we're asking for no further contact.
No hemos podido contactar al señor Cortés, por eso se solicita que no una orden de alejamiento
A stay away from 2572 Lenox Road.
y mantenerse distanciada del 2572 de Lenox Road.
1 day anger awareness.
Una clase de concientización de la ira.
No drugs, alcohol, or weapons while on bond.
Y se prohíbe el uso de alcohol, armas y drogas mientras esté libre bajo fianza.
And if we could sound from Mr. Cortez in accordance with Marcy's law when appropriate.
Por favor, si se puede llamar al señor Cortés. I'm sorry, what was the first name, madam?
I think it's Jorge, but it's also spelled Jorge.
Señor Jorge Cortés, ¿está presente en la plataforma? De ser así, por favor, prenda su micrófono y su cámara y avísenos. Jorge Cortés.
Doesn't appear so. Mr.
No
McLean?
parece. Señor
Uh,
McLean.
Your Honor, the signature bond part is certainly appropriate. I am concerned that I may have misheard the police report, but it sounded like although the second or third point in the police report was making her sound like the primary aggressor, that maybe the first sentence.
Mr. McLean, do you want this translated?
This part, no, Your Honor. I'm agreeing with the signature bond. I would like to simply bring up that she is the homemaker and she does take care of the children at the home. So that I would like translated.
Yo quisiera, lo que me preocupa es que puede haberse escuchado mal el informe de la policía, pero sonó como que a pesar de el segundo o tercer punto de la policía en el informe policial, fue hacer a la menor como o a ella como la primera agresora. Y no hablé de esta parte con la intérprete, por eso quiero que se interprete.
I realize we're in kind of a bind with regard to stay away if he doesn't come on Zoom, but there seems to be a problem here in that issue.
Me di cuenta que parece que hay una fianza con respecto a que en la fianza hay una condición de mantenerse distanciada de del domicilio y si él no aparece en la plataforma de Zoom. Y eso va a ser un problema aquí en este caso.
Is there any way I can get an additional phone number for trying to call him and asking him to Zoom?
¿Hay alguna manera en que yo pueda obtener un número de teléfono adicional para llamarlo a él y pedirlo que venga a la plataforma de Zoom?
Are you asking Ms. Chansey to ask Ms. Pedraza for that phone number?
Yes, Your Honor. What I'm saying is the 664-6069, is that his phone number or is that not his phone number?
El número de 664-6069, ¿él es el número de él o no, señora?
Sí, creo que sí es el número de él. Me parece que sí.
Yes, I think that is his number. I think so.
Would Your Honor allow me to try that number one more time to see if we can get him?
¿Me podría, por favor, permitir su señoría tratar de llamarlo otra vez para ver si lo hago venir?
So what I want to do, Mr. McLean, is I want to give my bond order. If you can raise him before the end of the court session, and if he wants something different, then you can make the court aware of that.
Excellent idea.
Lo que yo quiero hacer, señor McLean, es dar la orden de fianza. Si usted puede obtener, contactarse con él antes de la finalización de esta sesión y si él quiere algo diferente acerca de tener contacto con ella, usted me puede avisar. Es una idea excelente.
As such, for the simple battery will be a $2,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1. For the cruelty, $1,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1 makes for a total of a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1.
Como tal, por el cargo de golpes y lesiones simples, será una fianza bajo firma de $2,000 a través de los servicios previos al juicio en el nivel 1. Por el cargo de crueldad ante un menor, $1,000 de fianza bajo firma a través de los servicios previos al juicio, lo que hace un total de fianza de $3,000 bajo firma a través de los servicios previos al juicio.
No further contact with Jorge Cortez and stay away from the Lenox Road address.
A una orden de distanciamiento del señor, desde la persona del señor Jorge Cortés y mantenerse distanciada de la dirección sobre el Lenox Road.
She can go back to that address on one occasion with law enforcement to retrieve any belongings.
Ella puede regresar a esta dirección solo en una ocasión escoltada por un oficial de la fuerza del orden para buscar sus pertenencias personales.
Third party transfer of any minor children for visitation.
Debe haber una tercera parte que realice la transferencia de cualquier menor para cumplir la visita parental.
No drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond.
Se prohíbe el uso de drogas, alcohol y armas mientras esté libre bajo fianza.
If Mr. Cortez wants contact, then the court is willing to consider that once he's contacted.
Si se contacta al señor Cortés, el tribunal está dispuesto a considerar lo que suceda en esa comunicación.
Good luck to you, Ms. Pedraza.
Buena suerte, señora Pedraza.
Next, we have position 26, Ms. Rainey.
Oh, and by the way, Your Honor, Orduna is ready.
Okay. Good afternoon, Ms. Rainey. You have been charged in case 25 CR 002212C with battery family violence. Is there a history, Ms. Hardy?
The last arrest was February the 10th, 1991, out of Richland County, South Carolina, for fraudulent checks. They have 2 arrest cycles out of South Carolina. Nothing further.
Ms. Allen?
Thank you, Your Honor. One moment. This is an incident that just occurred. The victim is the husband of the defendant. His name is Titus Rainey. I believe he's on our Zoom today. Police were called to the location where I believe they recently lived together, but are currently separated. The victim reported that his wife has been staying at a hotel for a period of time, and she came over and argued with him and wanted to talk about their relationship and family issues. He declined that request, at which point she grabbed his cell phone and smacked him in the face. He had a visible red abrasion on his nose when he spoke to police. While on the scene with the victim, the defendant had fled in a vehicle. Police were there while he received 2 different phone calls from her. She was described as agitated, yelling at him, demanding to understand why he called the police on her. Basically admissions to what had just occurred, Your Honor. The incident location is 120 Duval Drive in Alpharetta, and this was in February, the 26th of February, 2025. So a period of time has passed since this incident occurred. We did speak to Mr. Rainey today. He reports that this is out of character for his spouse, and nothing like this has ever happened before, but he did confirm the information in the warrants. We'd asked for an SOB through pretrial, Your Honor, given her limited history, but a requirement that she stay away and have no contact, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons. And of course, if you'd call for Mr. Rainey, please.
Mr. Rainey, if you'd like to address the court, now is your opportunity. I need for you to unmute there for me.
Okay.
Raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give before this court will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. You can place your hand down, Mr. Rainey. What would you like to tell the court?
Like I told the person before I just talked to, this was an isolated event. I think both of our emotions were very high that night. She had went to her family, not to get away from our home over yet. She went, I believe, to visit some family. So when she came back, she was agitated due to something else, I believe. And we both were kind of tired. So that night I just advised her, let's just get some rest. But she wanted to talk about what was going on in her life, like with her family. And I guess I didn't receive it well or what was going on. But this is a very isolated event. She's never done this before. We never had this type of, physical um contact like that where I put my hands on her, she put her hands on me. So I've never seen that character out of her. And since then, these last 2 months, we're back in the same house together and everything's been good since then. And I've never seen that. So it was out of ordinary.
Okay, so she's living back at the DeLaw Drive address,
Yes, sir.
and you want her to return to that address?
Yes.
Okay. Anything further you'd like to tell the court?
No, that's pretty much it.
Your Honor, I just have a quick question for Mr. Rainey. You told the police that you guys were separating?
No, I don't think I ever said that.
Okay, so if I told you that the information you're providing today about what happened in February is different from the report and the warrant information that we have, would that be surprising to you?
Well, other than the separation part, I mean that it was, that night I was holding my nose, so
Did
I
you
don't
call the
know.
police on February the 26th, 2025?
Yes, I did. Yes.
Okay, and did you have visible injuries on your face as a result of being struck by your wife?
Yes.
And did you receive multiple phone calls from her while you were there on the scene making this report to police?
Yeah, because I was trying to get her to come back. Yeah, so it wouldn't escalate to anything else.
Well, she'd fled when you called the police, correct?
That is correct.
Okay. And so it's your position today that things have changed and you guys are staying in the same home together now?
Yes.
Okay. I just need the record to reflect that that's an alternate statement from what was given previously, and that your position has changed since you made this report.
Well, that night I was upset and emotional from what had happened. So since then, everything has
And you guys are together again.
yeah, we're together. We don't argue.
The information in our documents say that she'd been staying at a hotel for 2 days, that you guys had argued about your marriage and her leaving, and she returned to the residence and demanded to speak with you about your issues. And when you didn't want to do that, she assaulted you.
That's
You remember those statements?
Yeah, I do remember those statements, but the separation.
Today, April, you guys are going to live in the same house and you're not separating.
Correct.
Got it. Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay. Mr. Rainey, thank you for being here, sir.
You're welcome.
Mr. McLean?
Your Honor, the signature bond is appropriate. We'd ask the court to put whatever appropriate conditions the court feels is right.
Okay, it will be a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1. No further violent contact with Mr. Rainey. No drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you both. Who do we have next?
We have position number 23, Mr. Arduña.
Okay, and whose client is this?
This is mine, Your Honor.
Okay. Good afternoon, Mr. Arduña. You've been charged in case 25 CR 002207H with simple assault and terroristic threats and acts.
Muy bien. Buenas tardes, señor Arduino. Usted ha sido acusado en el caso 25 CR 002207H con golpes y lesiones simples y amenazas terroristas, al igual que actos.
Is there a history, Ms. Hardy?
¿Hay antecedentes, señora Hardy?
No history to report at this time.
No hay antecedentes en este momento.
Ms. Dunlap?
Your Honor. Didn't he have an interference with custody charge from 2018 and a driving without a valid license pre-trial? That's what I saw.
No tuvimos algo con la custodia, el cargo de 2018 y después por manejar sin una licencia válida, no hubo una conferencia anterior al juicio.
Give me one moment to pull the history back up. Bear
Un
with me.
momento, un momento que
Uh,
busco los antecedentes.
This incident date happened on April 26, 2025.
Este incidente ocurrió el 26 de abril del 2025
at 2920 3rd Avenue in Atlanta.
en el 2920, la avenida Tercera de Atlanta.
Officers responded to a dispute call.
Y los oficiales respondieron a una llamada de una disputa.
Defendant walked up to the victim's car with a firearm.
En donde el acusado caminó hacia el auto de la víctima con un arma de fuego.
Officers spoke with the victim and Mr. James Croft.
Y los oficiales hablaron con la víctima, el señor James Croft.
He said he had just pulled up home and he was trying to get a cigarette from his car.
Quien dijo que había llegado a su casa y estaba tratando de obtener un cigarrillo de su carro.
One moment, one moment, I'm sorry. Miss Hardy, can you mute for us, please? Thank you. I apologize. Go ahead.
Defendant was walking down the street, but Mr. Croft wasn't paying him any mind initially.
Inicialmente el acusado estaba caminando por la calle y el señor Croft no se había dado cuenta de su presencia al principio.
The victim had one leg outside of his car door and defendant pushed the door on his leg.
La víctima tenía una pierna fuera de la puerta de su carro y el acusado empujó la puerta sobre su pierna.
Defendant then said to the victim, "You know what it is."
El acusado dijo a la víctima, ¿tú sabes lo que es?
He pushed the car door on his leg a second time and then racked the airsoft firearm.
Él empujó la puerta del carro sobre su pierna por segunda vez y después sacó un arma de fuego.
The victim thought it was a real gun, so he pushed the car door and hit the defendant.
La víctima pensó que era un arma de verdad y empujó el carro, la puerta del carro, para golpear al acusado.
Defendant dropped the firearm, to which the victim and his brother jumped on the defendant to detain him until police arrived.
El acusado dejó caer el arma a la cual la víctima y su hermano saltaron hacia donde se saltaron sobre el acusado y lo detuvieron hasta que llegó la policía.
Our office had a chance to speak to the victim.
El oficial pudo hablar, tuvo una oportunidad de hablar con la víctima.
He stated that him and his girlfriend had just got back from dinner and he was with his friend outside of the house.
Él dijo que había recién llegado de tener una cena con su novia y él estaba con un amigo fuera de la casa.
He had his head down looking for a lighter in the passenger side of his truck, and he wasn't worried about people walking up and down the street because there's a 24-hour store.
Él tenía su cabeza baja, buscando por un encendedor en el lado del pasajero en su troca y no le preocupaba, no prestó atención a la gente caminando en la calle porque había un negocio que abre las 24 horas.
He said the defendant was coming down the street, to which the victim looked down, and when he looked back up, he was right in front of him.
Él dijo que el acusado venía por la calle, a la cual cuando la víctima miró hacia abajo y volvió a mirar hacia arriba, él estaba justo enfrente de él.
Defendant bumped the door and then tried to open it and push the victim in the car.
El acusado golpeó la puerta y después trató de abrirla, empujando a la víctima adentro del vehículo.
He said he heard a click and the defendant had pulled out a gun. He felt like he was trying to rob him.
También él dijo que él escuchó un clic y que el acusado había sacado un arma y pensó que él estaba tratando de robarle.
They ended up pushing the defendant to the ground, to which the gun fell, and they found out it was a toy gun.
Terminó empujando al acusado al piso cuando el arma cayó y ellos se dieron cuenta que era un arma de juguete.
The victim states that he thinks defendant may have some MH issues, and he also had a bottle on his hand to signify that he'd been drinking.
La víctima declaró que pensó que el acusado tenía algún tipo de problema y que también tenía una botella en su mano, lo que decía que él podría haber estado manejando un vehículo.
The victim stated he does not know him. He doesn't even speak English. The police said he was from Dunwoody. He shouldn't even be over there.
La víctima declaró que no lo conoce, que ni siquiera habla inglés y la policía dijo que él venía de Dunwoody, que no tenía ninguna razón por la que estar allí.
Try to shorten the last part. I'm sorry. He said his phone was damaged in that of the incident. He just said he doesn't know the defendant, tried to rob him. He wants the defendant to stay away.
Dijo que su teléfono se había dañado en ese incidente y que no quiere, que no conoce al acusado y que no quiere volver, o sea, quiere que el acusado se mantenga distanciado de él.
As such, the state is looking for a $2,000 surety bond in this case.
En este caso se busca una fianza bajo garantía de $2,000.
No further contact with the victim, James Croft.
No tener más contacto con la víctima, James Croft.
Stay away from the 2920 3rd Avenue address.
Con una orden de distanciamiento perimetral en la dirección del 2920 de la Tercera Avenida.
One day anger awareness.
Que tomar una clase de concientización de la ira.
No drugs, alcohol, weapons while on bond.
Que quede prohibido el uso de drogas, alcohol y armas mientras esté libre bajo fianza.
And if we could sound from Mr. Croft in accordance with Marcy's law when appropriate, thank you.
Si podemos llamar al señor Croft, acordado con la ley Marcy's cuando sea apropiado.
James Croft is on the line and wishes to address the court. Now is your opportunity. Does not appear so. Mr. McLean.
Your Honor, thank you. Alexis Orduna is 24.
El señor Alexis Orduna tiene 24 años.
He lives in a house on Jonesboro Road.
Y vive en una casa en Jonesboro Road.
My understanding had been that he had no record of arrests.
Lo que entiendo es que no tiene un antecedentes de arrestos.
So we would ask the court to consider a signature bond.
Por eso pedimos a su señoría que considere otorgar una firma bajo, una fianza bajo firma.
I did advise him about how to make sure that he makes court regardless of whether the mail works.
Le aconsejé y guié acerca de cómo asegurarse para que a pesar de los procesos de la correspondencia, él no pierda su cita ante el tribunal.
Thank you.
Gracias.
As such, for each charge, it will be a $2,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1 Makes for a total of a $4,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1.
Por esto, para cada cargo será una fianza bajo firma de $2,000 por los servicios previos al juicio, da un total de $4,000 de fianza bajo firma a través de los servicios previos al juicio en el nivel 1.
No further contact with James Cross and stay away from the 3rd Avenue address.
No tener contacto con el señor James Croft y mantenerse distanciado de la dirección sobre la 3ª Avenida.
No drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond.
Se prohíbe el uso de drogas, alcohol y armas mientras esté libre bajo fianza.
Good luck to you, sir.
Your Honor, did we hear back from the pretrial about whether this young man's got an arrest history or not?
According to the GCIC that was run on April 26th, there's no record found for this person.
Escuchamos alguna información si este joven tiene algún arresto anterior. Bueno, de acuerdo a la oficina, no hay ningún récord o antecedente encontrado para esta persona.
I think I know what happened. He's 24. These were 2018. He might have been a minor. I might have been seeing that.
Creo que sé lo que sucedió. Él es 24, tiene 24 años y en el 2018 él podría haber sido un menor.
Thank you.
We
Gracias.
have next. And do we need Ms. Chansey for any other
Yes, we have position number 31, Mr. Rios.
okay.
I'm sorry, 27.
All right, and has he already been spoken to?
Yes.
And I'd also like to, we still have another interpreter on the line. Do we know who that's for?
Your Honor, I believe somebody had requested an Arabic interpreter.
Position number 4.
Whose client is that?
That's my client, Your Honor, but I haven't spoken with him yet.
Okay, do you need to speak? Okay, so we need position number 4, a breakout room with the interpreter and Ms. McLeod whenever you all get around to that, okay?
I'm sorry, he's gonna get reset for behavioral issues.
Okay, so we're gonna reset him for 429.
Your Honor, just to be clear on the record, he was reset from Saturday. They tried to bring him into court to explain what was going on, and it was not possible because of his behavior.
Okay, so we'll make note of that. Let's see, Madam Interpreter, are you still on the line with me? Ms. Noreen?
Yes, Your Honor, I'm here.
Yes, ma'am. I'm sorry that we made you wait for the last hour and a half here, but I appreciate you being here today. I think that we're going to need your services tomorrow, so we'll have somebody request that. If you can be with us tomorrow, we'd appreciate it.
Yes, I'm available.
Okay, you're free to go today unless someone contacts, and I'll see you tomorrow if someone contacts you.
Thank you, Your Honor. Have a good day.
Thank you, ma'am. Ms. McLeod, do you have other clients with
I
you
have
today?
one more client, Your Honor.
Okay, we'll take them up
Miss
directly.
Lackley.
Okay.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, so this is position number. Tell me again who this is.
27.
Okay.
Yeah, that's Mr. Rios, Your Honor. Mr. Rios is number 27. Yeah, he's my case.
Okay. Good afternoon, Mr. Rios. You have been charged in case 25 CR 002206E with 2 counts of battery and criminal trespass and damage to property.
Buenas tardes, señor Ríos. Usted ha sido acusado en su caso 25 CR 002206E con 2 cargos de golpes y lesiones, allanamiento de morada y por daño con daño a la propiedad.
Is there a history, Ms. Hardy?
¿Hay antecedentes, señora Hardy?
The last arrest was March 28th, 2025, out of Atlanta.
El último arresto fue el 28 de marzo del 2025 en Atlanta.
For alien present without admission or parole.
Por extranjeros sin admisión o libertad condicional.
There's a total of 3 arrest cycles out of Georgia.
Y hay un proceso de 3 ciclos de arresto en Georgia.
Nothing further to report.
Nada más.
Ms. Allen?
Thank you, Your Honor. This is an incident from April the 27th. So yesterday at about 3:30 in the morning, police were called to a location in Alpharetta, 1352 Northampton Road, on a report of an assault. They met with the victim, Emmanuel Hernandez.
Gracias, su señoría. Este es un incidente de abril de 27. Entonces, ayer a las 3:30 en la mañana, la policía se llamó a un lugar en Alpharetta, el 1352 de Northampton Road, por un informe de agresión y se reunieron con la víctima, Emmanuel Hernández.
The victim told police that the location had been, it's his residence, and they had hosted a party where multiple family members had come to the location.
La víctima le dijo a la policía que en el lugar que la residencia había celebrado una fiesta donde múltiples miembros de familiares habían llegado.
The defendant was at the location there with a group of people and overheard the victim, Mr. Hernandez, say something he didn't like.
El acusado estaba en el lugar con un grupo de gente cuando escuchó a la víctima, el señor Hernández, decir algo que no le gustó a él.
In front of multiple people at the location, the defendant struck the victim in his face.
Y enfrente de múltiples personas en el lugar, el acusado golpeó a la víctima en su cara.
Family members intervened and stopped the assault.
Y los miembros de familia intervinieron y detuvieron la agresión.
Everything seemed to calm down, but later, once family left, the defendant assaulted the victim again.
Y los miembros, todo pareció haberse calmado, pero después, una vez que las familiares se habían ido, el acusado agredió a la víctima de nuevo.
Mr. Hernandez was seen to have a busted, bloody lip and scratches to his neck.
Y el señor Hernández se vio con un labio sangrante y golpeado y también con rasguños en el cuello.
They also observed multiple holes had been punched in the wall on the interior walls there at the residence.
Ellos también observaron múltiples agujeros que habían sido hechos en la pared a puñetazos en el interior de esas paredes de la residencia.
We attempted to speak with Mr. Hernandez today, but haven't been successful. If you would sound for him, we're asking for a $5,000 surety to stay away from that location and have no contact with Mr. Hernandez and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons, Your Honor.
Tratamos de hablar con el señor Hernández, pero no tuvimos éxito. Si por favor se lo puede llamar y solicitamos una fianza bajo garantía de $5,000, distanciamiento de esa dirección y no tener más contacto con el señor Hernández, quedando prohibido el uso de drogas, alcohol y armas, su señoría.
If Mr. Hernandez is on the line and wishes to address the court, now is your opportunity.
Señor Hernández, si usted está en la plataforma de Zoom con nosotros, por favor, esta es su oportunidad de hablar con nosotros, prender su cámara y micrófono, por favor. Señor Hernández.
Does not appear so. Mr. Bartels?
Yes, thank you, Your Honor. I also tried to contact Mr. Hernandez. I wasn't successful in that either. But I have spoken with Mr. Rios and advised him of all his rights and his options. He does indicate that Mr. Hernandez was the primary aggressor in this. I have advised him that it's not an evidentiary hearing today. The main issue is to set bond. He indicates that Mr. Rios indicates.
Mr. Bartels, do you want this interpreted?
One
Oh, I'm
moment.
sorry. Yes, I do.
Gracias,
I'll
su
stop.
señoría. Yo también intenté contactar al señor Hernández, pero sin éxito. Yo he hablado con el señor Ríos y le he recomendado de todos sus derechos constitucionales y opciones. Él indicó que el señor Hernández fue el agresor primario en esto. También le he recomendado y avisado que esto no es una audiencia evidenciaria, que el motivo principal de esta audiencia es establecer una fianza. Él indica que el señor Ríos, oh, perdón, please continue. I thought there was more to say.
Yes, all right, thank you. Sorry about that. Your Honor, Mr. Rios advises me that he's been in Georgia for 2 years and he works full-time at an upholstery company.
El señor Ríos me ha contado que ha estado aquí en Georgia por 2 años trabajando para una compañía de tapizado.
And based on all that, Your Honor, we would ask the court to consider a signature bond if he qualifies. If not, we would ask for a $1,500 total bond, $500 on each charge.
Y basado en todo esto, su señoría, nosotros solicitamos que considere una fianza bajo firma si él cumple los requisitos y si no, una fianza de $1,500 total, $500 por cargo.
And nothing further at this time.
Nada más en este momento.
Okay, for each charge will be a $500 good bond, makes for a total of a $1,500 good bond.
Muy bien, por cada cargo son $500 de firma bajo fianza, dando un total de $1,500 de fianza bajo firma.
No further contact with Mr. Hernandez and stay away from the Hampton Road address.
No tener contacto alguno con el señor Hernández y mantenerse distanciado de la dirección sobre Hampton Road.
No drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond.
Queda prohibido el uso de armas, drogas y alcohol mientras esté libre bajo fianza.
Good luck to you, sir.
Buena suerte, señor.
Thank you, Judge.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Chancey, thank you so much for your help this afternoon. We'll see you
You're
next time.
welcome, sir. Have a
Thank you,
good
Ms. Chancey.
You're welcome, sir. My pleasure.
Take care.
Next, Your Honor, is petition number 8, Ms. Forbes.
Good afternoon, Ms. Forbes. You have been charged in case 25 CR 002189D with battery. Is there a history, Ms. Hardy?
Yes, Your Honor. This defendant has a total of 7 arrest cycles. Their last arrest was April the 5th, 2025, out of the cab for criminal trespass. Nothing further to report. Well, they have arrests out of Georgia, California, New York, and Pennsylvania. No convictions listed on the GCIC. Nothing further.
Thank you. Ms. Belgizo?
Yes, Your Honor. This incident is from April 26, 2025. The location is 1559 Johnson Road, Northwest, Atlanta, Georgia. The officer was on scene regarding a different incident. While at the location, he observed an altercation between 2 females. Someone from the fire department and Grady staff told the officer that the defendant started the fight by punching the victim, Miss Pelonda Nelson, out of nowhere. Officers spoke with the victim, who stated that she knew the defendant because she used to live at the location before, but she was no longer allowed on the property. On the day of this incident, the victim saw the fire department and Grady's operators treating the defendant. She then approached them to inform them that the call was made for somebody else and not for the defendant. According to the victim, the defendant punched her in the face with a closed fist. The defendant and the victim began to wrestle. They fell on the ground. The victim sustained a busted lip. The defendant had several injuries, but she told officers that those injuries were from a prior incident, but she could not give a timeline as to when it happened, nor was she able to advise what caused the injuries. The defendant told officers that she came to the location for help finding a place to live, that she noticed the fire truck and she approached to ask for bandages and water. She also asked Grady for help with prescriptions. The defendant also told officers that she was talking to the victim, but once the victim finished speaking, she took a closed fist and struck her in the face. Your Honor, the state's recommendation is a $1,000 surety, no further contact with Palonda Nelson, social service visit, stay away from 1559 Johnson Road Northwest, Atlanta, Georgia, no alcohol, drugs, or weapons while on bond. If we can please sound for the victim, Ms. Palonda Nelson, in case she wishes to be heard.
If Ms. Nelson is on the line and wishes to address the court, now is your opportunity. Does not appear so. Mr. McLean? You're on mute, Mr. McLean.
Thank you so much, Your Honor. Sorry. Miss Forbes' high school education is out of Reading, Pennsylvania, but she's been in Georgia visiting family and off and on, and has now moved here. So she's been here about a decade, roughly. Your Honor, she has worked in restaurants, including the Camp Creek area, Aramark, which is all over the place. She had some college at Cal State. She's a culinary artist. She has certifications and has worked in a travel agency, personal care. She is certified to deal with people with level 1 and 2 dementia and do housing support. So she's had a varied and demanding career. Given all this, Your Honor, she does have, let's see, I've got phone numbers for her. We would ask the court to consider a signature bond in this situation.
It will be a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1, 1-day anger awareness, no further contact with Ms. Nelson, stay away from the Johnson Road address, no drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, Ms. Forbes.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome. Are we done there today?
Yep.
Okay, we'll see you next time, Officer Nelson.
See you next Monday.
Who do we
Your
have
Honor, did
next?
you say that was a 3,000?
Yes,
Thank you.
you're welcome.
Next, we got position number 30, Mr. Stewart.
Good afternoon, Mr. Stewart. You have been charged in case 25 CR 002209E with simple battery. Is there a history?
Yes, Your Honor. The last arrest was February 26, 2025 out of DeKalb for an FTA. They have a total of 10 adult arrest cycles out of Georgia. There was a misdemeanor conviction in 2025 for terroristic threats and acts. Nothing further to report.
Thank you,
Ms.
Your
Allen?
Honor. This is an incident that happened at the Covenant House Shelter. That's 1559 Johnson Road Northwest. This was on the 26th of February, 2025. Police were called at about 6:15 p.m. On a call there about a dispute. They spoke to the defendant first, who said that his camera has a flash on it that when he receives a notification, the flash goes off. Someone there at the location, Kalia Reed, who's the victim in this case, saw the flashing and thought he was perhaps taking photographs of them. They asked the defendant to please stop, and they argued. The defendant and the victim argued, at which point multiple witnesses saw the defendant strike the victim there on the scene in the face. The victim fought back. Multiple people intervened to try to stop this incident. The defendant caused a glass centerpiece on a table to fall. It cut him on his arm. He claimed to police that someone had attacked him with a piece of glass. There was actually surveillance footage, as well as the witnesses there on the scene showing that the defendant was cut by the centerpiece that he made fall. He does have a substantial history for juvenile incidences, but in 2024, he started having some other run-ins with the law as an adult that include burglary and theft, but most recently that terroristic threats you just heard about and failure to appear this year in 2025. We tried to reach out to the victim, Kalia Reed, today, but have not been successful yet. If you'd sound for them. We're asking for a $2,000 surety, Your Honor, to stay away from the Covenant House at 1559 Johnson Road Northwest, and no drugs, alcohol, or weapons. Thank you.
You see a big old building.
No,
Okay,
Mom.
Ms. Thornton, you're not on mute there.
Chin.
Can we mute Sheila Thornton?
Sorry.
Okay. Kalila Reed, if Ms. Reed is on the line and wishes to address the court, now is your opportunity. Mr. Bartels?
Yes, thank you, Your Honor. I have spoken with Mr. Stewart. He indicates to me that Ms. Reed started this dispute. He indicates to me that he was cut on the arm by a glass object that she threw. But again, without full discovery and without a hearing, it's going to be a difference of accounts. He indicates that he was employed full-time at Burger King until recently. He did lose that job, but he is looking for another one. He was born and raised in Atlanta and has lived here in the metro Atlanta for almost all of his life. So he does have ties to the community. My understanding is this is a shelter. And if I could just ask Ms. Allen, does Ms. Reed live here as well? Is that your understanding?
I do understand that to be the case, yes.
Yes. Okay. Well, he would ask for a no further violent contact, Your Honor. He expressed that he is asking for that because this is where he was staying. He indicates that it would be a hardship to find somewhere else to stay, but I advised him that that is going to be up to the court. He's
It might
also
also be up to the shelter, but I understand what you're asking.
all right. Okay, well, thanks. He also is wanting to ask the court for a signature bond. He indicates that he's going to job training classes at the Promise Center. He's taking classes on how to work and get a job in IT. If the court is not inclined to grant a signature bond, we would just ask for $1,000 surety bond.
Okay. It's going to be a $500 good bond. No further contact with Ms. Reed. Stay away from the Covenant House. He can go back there on one occasion with law enforcement to retrieve any belongings. No drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond.
Okay,
Good luck
thank you,
to you.
Judge.
Welcome.
Next, we have position number 2, Mr. Blindaller.
Good afternoon, Mr. Blandoro. You have been charged in case 25 CR 002210A with criminal trespass and willful obstruction of law enforcement officers. Is there a history?
Yes, Your Honor. The last arrest was November 4th, 2022 out of Smyrna, Tennessee for identity theft. They have a total of 82 arrest cycles, arrests out of Georgia, New Jersey, South Carolina, Maryland, Kentucky, Minnesota, Florida, Wisconsin, North Carolina, and Tennessee. There's several of most of it's outside of the last 10-year period. There's a 2024 forgery felony conviction. There's a 2015 misdemeanor conviction out of North Carolina for communicating threats, open container, and possession of drug paraphernalia. Everything else is outside the last 10 years. Nothing further.
Thank you. Mr. Sirocco?
Thank you, Judge. This incident took place 2 days ago, April 26th, at 2448 Cheshire Bridge Road. In Atlanta, it's the Georgia Emissions Testing. It's the name of the business there, owned by Mr. Azam Saeed. That's S-Y-E-D. Law enforcement responded to the location in reference to a reported burglary about a man who'd broken into the business and was still inside. And upon arrival, made contact with the defendant, who was exiting the building when the officer arrived. Officer gave several commands for the defendant to get on the ground, place his hands behind his back, which he refused. He initially grabbed the defendant's wrist to put his hands behind his back. Defendant pulled away in refusal, and he ultimately had to be tasered to get under control. While in custody, he stated he was just inside to get out of the rain. He said that spontaneously. The business had a visible no trespassing signs and posted hours of operation, which he was outside of. The owner, Mr. Saeed, reported as well that he actually had video footage showing the defendant had been inside the business from roughly 10 p.m. to 12:40 a.m. He was placed under arrest. And to elaborate a little more, I am seeing more than what pretrial stated with respect to the last 10 years. I'll go into that briefly, but as far as other states are concerned, I see resisting arrest conviction 2014 out of South Carolina, resisting arrest by use of threats or force on a law enforcement officer 2013 out of New Jersey. But with respect to Georgia, I see burglary conviction 2012, 2 different criminal trespass convictions from 2014, criminal trespass and simple battery against a law enforcement officer from 2017. There's 2 disorderly conducts that were amended from willful obstruction and criminal trespass in 2017. And just as well, I see a criminal trespass and criminal damage to property in the 2nd degree conviction out of 2020. That last portion was all out of Georgia. There also appears to be he may well be actively wanted out of New Jersey for failure to appear. It looks like that's still open, though it's been some years since that was open. That was from 2018. Given the defendant's history of convictions and cases for offenses against law enforcement and property, he poses a risk of reoffense here. With that, the state's and the FTA as well. State's recommendation is $1,000 surety on each count. Behavioral health evaluation and treatment. No further contact with Mr. Azam Saeed, who we would ask the court sound for, and stay away from the Georgia emissions testing at 2448 Cheshire Bridge Road, as well as no drugs, weapons, or alcohol while out on bond.
Mr. Saeed is on the line and wishes to address the court. Now is your opportunity. Mr. Chataya.
Thank you, Your Honor. We ask the court to consider the lowest surety amount that this court considers reasonable for this case. Mr. Blindauer is 46 years old. He's been an Atlanta resident for the past 10 years, is my understanding. He is a high school graduate, and by training and profession, he is a mechanic. He worked as a mechanic for the past 4 months and will continue to do so. And with that, I ask the court to consider my recommendation instead.
Okay, for each count will be a $250 good bond, makes for a total of a $500 good bond. No further contact with Mr. Saeed. Stay away from the Cheshire Bridge Road address. I'd like him to have a social worker visit to assist with assess for a BHET and assist with any housing issues. No drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, sir.
Next, we'll go with position number 7, Mr. Figueroa.
Good afternoon, Mr. Figueroa. You have been charged in case 25 CR 002188J with criminal trespass and loitering and prowling. Is there a history, Ms. Hardy?
The last arrest was September 30th, 2024. Out of DeKalb for criminal trespass. There's a total of 9 arrest cycles. Arrests out of Georgia, Texas, and Arkansas. Misdemeanor conviction in 2011 for DUI. 2009, interfering with the duties of a public servant. Nothing further to report.
Ms. Melgiza?
Yes, Your Honor. This incident is from April 25th, 2025. Location is 232 Boulevard Southeast, Atlanta, Georgia. Officers spoke with a witness, Mr. Kevin Ratman, who stated that he was sitting on the front porch of his residence when he saw the defendant remove the window screen of one of the units and entered the location through the window. Mr. Ratman notified Mr. Omar Mitchell, who is a resident at the location, and Mr. Mitchell called the police. Upon arrival, officers entered the lower level unit, which is unit number 5, through the window, and no one was located inside. However, officers found 2 large bins with Omar Mitchell's name on them. After speaking with Mr. Mitchell, he informed officers that the bins had been stolen from his truck 2 weeks ago. Officers, excuse me, officers then entered unit number 7, and they located the defendant sleeping on a mattress on the floor. The defendant stated that his wife was renting the apartment for him. However, officers spoke with one of the property managers, Mr. Trevor Kane, and he stated that no one lives in the apartment as it is currently being renovated. The property actually belongs to Mr. Kane's mother, Elizabeth Kane. Mr. Kane went into the apartment with officers and stated that the furniture inside the apartment had not been inside when he was in the apartment a few days ago. He also stated that he did not recognize the defendant. Your Honor, the state's recommendation is a signature bond through pretrial, no further contact with Omar Mitchell, Kevin Ratman, nobody from the Kane family or anyone else in the building. Stay away from 232 Boulevard Southeast, Atlanta, Georgia. A social service visit, no alcohol, drugs, or weapons while on bond. That is all for the state.
Mr. Chutai?
No objection to the state's recommendation, Judge.
Okay, for each charge will be $1,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1. Makes for a total of a $2,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1. No further contact with Mr. Mitchell. Stay away from the Boulevard address. A social worker visit to assist with housing. No drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, sir. Who do we have next?
I'm sorry, Your Honor. We have position number 11, Mr. Henderson.
Your Honor, in his position 11 and 12.
Okay, so do we need to go off of the YouTube, Mr. McLean?
Yeah.
Why don't we, can we hold Mr. Henderson until last their courtroom too?
Okay. We sure can.
Thank you.
We'll go on position number 14, Mr. Jacob.
Mr. McLean, did you put in the chat that you also want him in a separate breakout or no?
Yes, Your Honor. Yes.
So we need to go off of YouTube for him as well, Mr. McLean?
Yes, Your Honor, we do. I've talked to his mom, and it's definitely an MH situation.
Can we hold Mr. Jacobs for the end of the calendar as well?
Okay.
Thank
you. We'll do you.
One more
at the end of it.
Thank you.
Forward, position number 21, Mr. McCarty.
Good afternoon, Mr. McCarty. You've been charged in case 25 CR 002194D with battery. Is there a history, Ms. Hardy?
The last arrest was December 14th, 2007, out of Cobb for possession of marijuana with intent and possession of controlled substance. That is their only arrest cycle, nothing further.
Stand up.
Thank you, Your Honor. This incident date happened on April 25th, 2025 at 440 Jardin Court in Alpharetta. Defendant punched his wife, Miss Destiny McCarty, in the face several times. She had multiple bruises, swelling, blood on her face. Officers did have a chance to speak with the victim. She stated they're married, they live together at the incident location, they share one child. She stated the defendant was drunk and not himself, and that he was making up stories in his head and then began hitting her. She stated nothing like this has ever happened before, and the defendant has issues with drinking and needs help. She said she's not in fear of the defendant and wants to continue contact, and she's okay with the defendant returning back to the residence. She doesn't wish to attend Zoom. They did have several phone calls with each other where he kept asking her whether it was a felony or a misdemeanor and reminding her that the line is recorded so they don't talk about the incident. The state, given the nature of her injuries and regardless of the victim's situation, the state is still looking for a $5,000 surety bond in this case. Stay away from 440 Jardin address. No further contact with Destiny McCarty to give a significant cooling off period. It's only been 2 days. No drugs, alcohol, weapons while on bond. 1 day anger awareness. And we can sound for Ms. McCarty just in case she did join in accordance with Marcy's law when appropriate. Thank you.
Ms. McCarty is on the line and wishes to address the court. Now is your opportunity. Mr. Bartel?
Yes, thank you, Your Honor. I have spoken with Mr. McCarty. I also did speak with Ms. McCarty, and she essentially told me the same thing as what Ms. Dunlap related to the court. Mr. McCarty, Your Honor, his criminal history is minimal. As mentioned, his last arrest was 17, 18 years ago. He indicates he's employed full-time. He's been working for several years with State Farm. He is a software engineer. He has been in Georgia for approximately 25 years. And his family, he's got extended family, including his mother and his stepfather, who live in the metro Atlanta area. So he does have ties to the community. As mentioned, Ms. McCarty did say the same thing to me, that this was a one-time incident. And they have a newborn child together, and she is asking for no further violent contact. Given all that, we would ask the court for a signature bond. And with the other conditions that the state has requested, we would not oppose those. And that's it for now, Judge.
Thank you. It will be a $5,000 signature bond through pretrial level 1, 1 day anger awareness, no further violent contact with Destiny McCarty, no drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond, and random drug and alcohol screens.
All right, very well. Thank you, Judge.
Good luck to you, Mr. McCarty.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome.
Next, we'll go to position number 28, Mr. Santano.
Your Honor, that is my case. After speaking with Mr. Santano, I think it would be best to discuss this in a breakout room.
Okay, so Mr. Bartels, we normally go off the YouTube. Is that fine with you as well?
That would be, Your Honor, yes.
Okay, so can we hold also Mr. Santana until the end of the calendar so that we can do all the off videos at the same time?
Next, we'll go position number 29, Mr. Skyers. Skyers. Come on.
Yeah, I'm ready on Mr. Skyers.
Good afternoon, Mr. Skyers. You've been charged in case 25 CR 002203J with willful obstruction of law enforcement officers and criminal trespass. Is there a history, Ms. Hardy?
Yes, Your Honor. The last arrest was March 31st, 2025 out of DeKalb for a probation violation. They have a total of 14 arrests out of Georgia and Florida. There's a misdemeanor conviction in 2025, criminal trespass, obstruction, possession and use of drug-related objects. There's a felony conviction out of Florida in 2018, possession and delivery of cocaine. Out of Georgia, 2011, entering auto. Nothing further to report.
Ms. Allen?
Thank you, Your Honor. This is an incident from April the 26th between about 12:30 and 1 in the morning. Officers with Capitol Police observed the defendant scaling the locked fence surrounding the Capitol building. That's a fenced off area, supposed to be open only to employees and during working hours specifically. Officer Calmes, Calmes, directed the defendant to get down off the fence. He did not get down off the fence and continued and jumped over the fence into the gated area. Officers made entry to detain him, and he ignored their verbal commands and fled from them on foot. He was eventually apprehended. You did just hear that he's got significant history out of Florida, and then since 2024, felony drugs and obstruction and other felony drug cases. The most recent one out of DeKalb County in February of this year, a felony conviction for drugs or drug objects, excuse me, not a felony. 2 open cases from 2024, both for drugs out of Villa Rica and Paulding County. We're asking for a $2,000 surety to stay away from the Capitol building. That's specifically 260 Washington Street Southwest, or 206, excuse me, Washington Street Southwest. No drugs, alcohol, or weapons, Your Honor. We'd ask for a social worker visit.
Mr. Bartels?
Yes, thank you, Your Honor. I have spoken with Mr. Skyers. He is wanting to ask the court for a signature bond. He indicates that it was raining pretty heavily at this time, and he was simply trying to get shelter. I'm not aware that anybody from the police or the Capitol building had given him a warning or had trespassed him from this property. He indicates that he's lived in Georgia ever since he was 2 years old. Right now, he's 33 years old. He indicates to me that he does have family members in the Atlanta area, including his mother, his brother, and some aunts and uncles. He indicates he's also self-employed. He has his own company selling shoes online. If the court is not inclined to grant a signature bond, we would ask for a $500 bond on each charge, and that's it for now.
Okay, for each charge will be a $250 good bond, makes for a total of a $500 good bond. Stay away from the Capitol building on Washington Street. Social worker visit to assist with housing. No drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond. Good luck to you, sir.
Thank you, Judge.
Welcome.
Next, we got position number 32, Mr. Webster.
Good afternoon, Mr. Webster. You have been charged in case 25 CR 002214J with battery, family violence, and cruelty to children in the 3rd degree. Is there a history, Ms. Hardy?
The last arrest was February 19th, 2019 out of Fayette County for possession of methamphetamine. They have a total of 8 arrest cycles in Georgia. Felony conviction in 2014 for terroristic threats and acts. They received first offender on that, and it was sealed in 2016. The 2020 possession of methamphetamine. Misdemeanor conviction in 2014 for simple battery that fell under that first offender case. Nothing further to report.
Ms. Allen?
Thank you, Your Honor. This is an incident from the 26th of April at about 2 a.m. Police were called to 2853 Cardo, C-A-R-D-O Drive, Northwest, based on a report of an assault. They could hear a violent incident occurring inside the location as they approached. They knocked on the door and made entry, spoke to the victim, Mrs. Krista Noel Pitts. She was seen to have a visibly busted, bloody lip. Her 9-year-old child was also present. Mrs. Pitts reported that she'd gone out with the defendant and I think a family member. He had assaulted her at the location they went out to, and then this assault continued when they got home. She actually got to the location before he did, asked the driver who dropped her off to wait while she went inside and gathered her child. It's at that point the defendant showed up and became angry, tried to fight the man who gave her a ride home, and then assaulted her by shoving her into a wall, yanking her by her hair and punching her in the face. Her 9-year-old told police that he heard the altercation, heard his mom screaming for him to call 911, and watched the defendant as he grabbed his mom forcefully by her hair. We are, based on his history, asking for a $3,000 surety, Your Honor, no drugs, alcohol, weapons, to stay away from the victim, Mrs. Krista Pitts. and her child, no drugs, alcohol, or weapons. And if you'd sound for Mrs. Krista Pitts, please.
Krista Pitts is on the line and wishes to address the court. Now is your opportunity. Mr. Bartels?
Yes, thank you, Your Honor. I was not able to get in contact with Ms. Pitts, but I did talk with Mr. Webster and advise him of his options. He does deny the allegations. He indicates to me that he's lived in Georgia all of his life, was born in Marietta and raised in the metro Atlanta area. He has family in the metro area, including his sister, his aunts, and several cousins. I'm also advised that he works full-time as a machine maintenance engineer for United Hospitality. That's a laundry service. He is wanting to ask for a signature bond. Your Honor, if the court is not inclined to do that, we would ask for a $1,000 good bond on the battery and then $500 on the cruelty to children charge.
Okay, for the battery, it will be a $3,000 signature bond through pretrial level 3. For the cruelty, $1,000 signature bond through pretrial level 3. Makes for a total of a $4,000 signature bond through pretrial level 3. 1-day anger awareness, no further contact with Ms. Pitts. Stay away from the incident location. He can go back to that location on one occasion with law enforcement to retrieve any belongings. Third-party transfer of any minor children for visitation. No drugs, alcohol, weapons while out on bond.
Thank
Good
you,
luck to
Judge.
Welcome.
A quick question. Is position 19 and 20 in courtroom 2? The Lachlan's?
I called and talked to a relative who said, I believe it was the mother of Shaniqua, and she said I paid both their bonds at 2:30.
Sense. Okay.
Next, Your Honor, we have position
So
number,
does that mean they will not be appearing today?
their bonds were paid.
Okay. Your Honor, may I be excused? I was
Yes.
waiting for that case. Thank
All
you.
right. Thank you, Ms. McLeod. We'll see you next time.
Yes, Your Honor. Thank you.
Your Honor, I would also want to ask about Mr. Potts, number 25. I was advised by the deputies that he had a private attorney, but it looks like none has been present for that. And I was asked about interviewing him, and I'm reluctant to do that. Well, I can't do it if he's represented by other counsel. I was wondering if anybody else had heard anything about that.
I can speak to that.
Okay. Do you have a private attorney, sir?
According to the attorney I spoke to, who I believe was named Adam, I didn't catch his last name, but I certainly would first ask, would it be okay if all the Sheriff's Department personnel had their cameras turned on, their chest cameras? Would that be okay for right now? Would there be any hesitation? Would there be any problem with recording?
Well, sir, we need to figure out if our office is going to be representing you first.
I just wanted to make sure about that part.
Mr. Bartels, he was called in. He had an attorney visit in one of the side booths. So I guess that, I don't know if we're getting that confused with he had a private attorney. It could have been somebody else. It could have been another.
I was told that he was sent to speak to me by my brother, by my two sisters, Christy Lee Keeble and Brandy Jill Bryant.
Okay, so we don't know if there's a paid attorney representing Mr. Potts this afternoon.
Right, we
So,
don't.
all right, so.
Well, no,
Let them.
we do.
So
I met with someone, unless he was an imposter. That's the only thing that I could say at this point. I hope this is all being recorded so we can straighten all this out.
Mr. Potts, this is not only being recorded, but it's being live on YouTube. So you will have, All right, so that takes care of that
right.
problem for you. I'm trying to figure out, Mr. Potts, you have a right to remain silent. Anything you say can be used against you. You have a right to have an attorney present at these proceedings. If you have paid or if you have a private attorney, then I'll need to wait for that attorney to come represent you. If you want to speak to a public defender this afternoon regarding this bond hearing, I'm happy to give you that opportunity as well. Given that there is no private attorney that is with us today, I would imagine that if you had hired someone, that they would be here. But it's up to you. You can either proceed pro se this afternoon, or I can have Mr. Bartels represent you and speak with you. What would you like for the court to do this afternoon?
Public defender sounds like is what I'll have to use.
Okay, well, you don't have
myself, I guess.
You don't have to do anything. If you want to represent yourself, that's up to you. If you want to, Mr. Bartels is a public defender. He's a lawyer. If you want to speak with him, I'm happy to give you that opportunity to give him the opportunity to represent you here today.
I think that makes sense. I don't know.
Okay.
Paul Bartels.
All right. So why don't you this is him on the line here. Why don't you let you speak with Mr. Bartels? I'll have you talk with him over the telephone, okay?
How will I know it's him?
Well, because he's sitting right here and he's making I know,
Sure,
Mr.
have you heard
Bartels.
of deep fakes?
No. Okay, it sounds like we're gonna need some type.
I've got my phone.
Face-to-face representation, I guess.
You can represent.
Got my phone right here, Mr. Potts. I'm ready to talk to you whenever you want.
All right. I just want to make sure there's no. I've been through all kinds of deep fakes today, so I don't know what to do.
All right, so can we place Mr. Potts to the phone so Mr. Bartels can speak with him, and then do we have anyone else that needs to be on the YouTube? Or can we?
What position 17, Mr. Lang? Is he in the courtroom?
Over here, where I'm on the camera. That's not going to reach. It's not going to reach. The phone's not going to reach, so I can stay in the camera. So
Well, you're not. You're going to talk to him privately. You have a right to have a private conversation. I don't want. Okay.
Just want to make sure.
Your Honor, I have a question. Ms. McLeod's clients, the two that were released, what position numbers were they?
19 and 20.
19 and 20. Thank you.
Mr. Jordan just said, because I had to add an additional charge to Ms. Laughlin's case, and Mr. Jordan just said she's supposed to be on no bond hold for that charge if she hasn't been released. So someone's gonna have to check on that if she's been released or not.
Right. That there may be a on that. There could be a bit on that, so we better check.
Yeah, and then you asked about the cases that weren't needed to go off YouTube. Mr. Lang, did someone say that needs to go off YouTube, position 17?
Mr. Lang, I was told, is a medical reset to tomorrow. I haven't spoken to him. I understand he was at Grady or someplace.
So maybe let's get some announcements, because we haven't been told about people who've been released or medical resets or anything. And then we can see if what we have left are our breakouts and our off YouTube, Your Honor.
Makes us wish for the days when we were all in the same room together.
Okay, so who do we have left there in courtroom 2?
We have Henderson, who's one of them. I guess he talked to Mr. McLean.
Yes,
Okay, we have position 10 and 11, Mr. Henderson.
Right.
All right, positions 13, Keith Jacob. What are we doing with Mr. Jacob this afternoon? He's 13 and
Yeah, I need a MH breakout for that, and I can explain to the court and to the prosecutor what we heard from.
Mr. Jacob, let me see if he's with us first. Is Mr. Jacob with us?
Yes, he's right here.
Okay, so you're gonna need what, Mr. McLean?
A breakout or offline so that I can explain to the court what Mom said about the past.
Okay, so got Mr. Jacob. Position 18, Tanisha Liberty. What are we doing with Miss Liberty today?
She was at ACDC. She was a conflict over at ACDC.
I think that was an issue with that earlier. There was a magistrate number. Let me just verify. There was a magistrate number linked to her case and we could not unlink it. So I know it was
That's not her.
filed.
Okay, so once we figure out about Miss Liberty, we've got Mr. Potts and then we have Mr. Santano. So that will take care of everybody. So everybody else that's left there aside from Mr. Potts will need to be off video. So we'll take Mr. Potts last, I guess. Who do we have in courtroom 2 now?
Your Honor, sorry, really quickly, I take that back. That was Miss Banks, not Miss Liberty. I was the wrong person.
Okay, so we have to figure out where Miss Bates is. Courtroom 2.
I'm sorry, what was that last name?
It would be Miss
I'm sorry,
Liberty.
Liberty. Position 18, Tanisha Liberty.
All right, well, I'll call over to ACDC and see what's going on.
Okay, very good. Miss Grace, are you with me?
Yes, sir.
Can we go ahead and go off the YouTube, please?
Yes, sir.